So I haven't posted a video for a while. And normally when someone hasn't posted a video for a while, they spend the first 5 minutes of the video explaining why they haven't posted a video for a while. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how I became the only tourist in Tokyo. So I came here as part of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. I was asked out here to do some vision engineering and keep a series of beauty cameras running. These cameras show landscapes and scenes of the city, which can be cut to at any time during the daylight and often at night as well. And my job has been to keep them running, to keep them exposed properly and to keep the colours right. So that's given me the opportunity to come out here and explore somewhere where, to be fair, I never even thought I'd go.
This is the video diary of my time in Tokyo. There's a little bit about the work I was doing and a lot about the places you can photograph in the city, as well as what it's like to shoot film in a high-tech city that still embraces analog photography. My role in Japan was that of a remote camera operator and a racks engineer. Racking is the process of colouring and correctly exposing a television picture, and a remote camera operator operates cameras that are in remote places or that just can't be manned for practical reasons. In our case, we had 12 beauty cameras scattered around the city that showed GVs of Tokyo, which could be cut to at any time if they wanted to show it was a nice sunset, or if they wanted to put a scoreboard over it, or it was just a camera that you could cut to if nothing was happening. When things go wrong, it gets a bit more involved, like that time that we had to save Tokyo from the giant mutant radioactive spider. Rawr. But other times you just need to entertain yourself. On our arrival, we had 2 weeks of quarantine, where we could go to work, go to the hotel room, or go to a convenience store. Until on your 15th day, with your quarantine complete, they present you with a rail card. And the first place I went was the temple at Sensoji, which I've been gazing at longingly through my cameras for the past 2 weeks.
While I'm here, I brought with me a Yashica Mat and a Nikon FG. I'm in Sensoji right now, so I'm going to try and take some pictures. One of the really nice things about Japan actually is film is cheaper than it is back home. So I've got a lot of film to get through. I've been trying to do a review on it for a while, but I've never actually got round to it. I've just been shooting with this thing for months now. And that's a Nikon FG. It's not the world's most exciting camera, but it's one of the nicest, small, easy to use cameras that I've ever had.
According to legend, a statue of Canon was found in the Sumida River by 2 brothers who were fishermen. The chief of their village recognized the sanctity of the statue and enshrined it by remodeling his own house into a small temple so that the villagers could worship Canon, the goddess of mercy. Now Sensoji is Tokyo's oldest temple and the most widely visited spiritual site in the world.
So that camera up there is one of the cameras that we're looking after. There's another one over there, which I'm busy hiding from because if they see me, they'll know it's me, and I don't want that.
Visitors to Sensoji draw umikuji paper fortunes, which they manifest by tying them to iron racks. Often you see pensive-looking people who are likely tying their misfortune to the rack.
Amazing place. It's quite exciting taking pictures somewhere that you've never been, that's incredibly foreign but really familiar at the same time. And I'm always drawn to taking pictures of people, so I ended up taking pictures of people. And generally people were really, really nice about it. They'd smile, they'd ask me to take their picture on their phones, all sorts of things. Definitely the place that everyone comes to take pictures when they arrive in Tokyo, right? So I'm going to head back. I might have time to stop off on the way back, But the hotel's quite a long way away, it's near the airport, and I've got a 4 a.m. start tomorrow because you've got to be up when the sun starts. So I might head straight back and go to bed, or I might stop off and see if I can get another roll shot. So on the way back, I stopped off here at Akihabara.
Akihabara was given the nickname the Electric Town, and it's a mecca for popular culture. Anything from computer games, anime, manga and electronics, to girls lining the streets dressed as French maids.
Hello? What is it?
Are you interested now?
What is it?
Oh, made coffee.
Oh, it's food.
So, made coffee.
Thank you. Arigato.
Arigato.
Thank you. Here comes the rising sun. I mean, the sun rises in every country, so why is this the land of the rising sun? It's pretty amazing in the mornings, though. The Japanese really love their cameras, and in Tokyo, Shinjuku seems to be where all the camera shops are. And there's lots of really modern, cool camera shops. But I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for something a little bit more vintage. So I'm heading to a little basement somewhere, which I believe to be full of old film cameras. So it looks like this might be the place.
The shop I went to was called Used Box Cameras, and it specialises in vintage film cameras of all different types and creeds. There were people in there looking for bargains, and there were people in there looking for very rare, old vintage cameras. In fact, the only cameras you couldn't see that many of were the Yashicas. This was the same in most of the camera shops I went to, as they seemed to much prefer the original Rolleiflex than the cheap Japanese copy.
In Japan, do you say Nikon, Nikon, or Nikon?
Japan, Nikon.
Nikon, like the English.
Nikon English.
So I just spent 30,000 yen and I got a Canon FD 50mm 1.8 for 3,000 yen, a 28mm Nikkor, not sure how fast it is, I think it's a 1.4 or 1.8, and a zoom lens, just because I wanted a longer lens. And the whole lot cost me 30,000 yen, which is about £180. Back home though, that FD lens would have been about £100 on its own at least. So I think I did all right. Tokyo is so unbelievably hot and humid right now that just getting anywhere is really hard work, especially for me, who's not used to it at all. And everyone in the city is doing it with a mask on as well. I've been wandering back through Tokyo for most of the afternoon, taking pictures on the wider lenses, which have been really helpful because it's just such a tall city.
It's starting to get dark now.
And I was trying to take pictures on the Portra medium format. There's just not enough guts to it. So I'm trying out the 800T CineStill to see what that's like with all of these LEDs and flashing lights around. It should be really good fun. So this film was very kindly given to me when I got here by a friend of mine. And he said, if you're going to go into Tokyo, go to Shinjuku, Akihabara, Shibuya, at night, take this film with you and see what you get. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And now it started raining, so it's going to look even better. I want to see how all of these now LED lights respond to the tungsten film, because that should be really interesting. It's amazing how quickly it dries around here. It's just so hot. So I'm going to head back and do some more pictures tomorrow. Another amazing sunrise over Tokyo. Now I found out it was actually called the Land of the Rising Sun because before Australia and New Zealand were discovered, people believed it was as far east as you could go, so the closest place you could get to the rising sun. So the place I've come out to tonight is called Kabukicho, and it's the red light district of Tokyo. It's one of the more famous parts because it's the really, really, really bright and loud neon part. So I thought it'd be a fantastic place to finish using that CineStill 800T. But in the meantime, before it gets dark, I'm just taking some pictures on the Yashica. Look, there's Godzilla. This is what you think of when you think of Tokyo, isn't it? Giant buildings with huge billboards on the side. All these alleyways are crazy because they're like the seedier side of the seediest side of Tokyo. So it's kind of like the darkest parts. So I quite like them, so I keep being drawn to them, which probably isn't the smartest thing to do, but, well, what are you going to do?
So that just about wraps it up for part 1. In the second video, I nearly get arrested in Shibuya for taking photographs. A strange monk gave me a book which apparently had my entire life's fortune in it. I found an amazing high-end vintage camera shop, as well as finding more exciting places in Tokyo to take pictures. So as usual, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you with the next video in 2 weeks.